The 2024 NFL schedules are out. The Vikings know who they're playing. I'm joined alongside by head coach Kevin O'Connell. And coach, it's an exciting day for everyone, but I'm sure for you, this is where you really start to dive into the matchups and looking at the overall schedule. So I ask you, what do you look at first when you get that email saying, okay, here it is?
Yeah, I know it's a cliche, one game at a time and all those things, but we legitimately always look at the first game. You look at the first game because
Sure.
we've got a kind of an army of coaches around here ready to get into breakdowns and starting to build kind of the inventory so we can get a head start working on those games. Then you look at kind of what's to follow, what's the early travel like where, when do we get to open up the great US Bank Stadium and welcome our fans in to see our team in 2024. And you find that Thursday game, you find, this year we've got the great experience of going to London, in week 5 there, and you wonder where the bye is and just where those things are that from a standpoint of my job of planning out every minute of every day leading into every single one of those games, making sure we're doing smart things to help our players be at their best.
Right. Well, you mentioned opening up US Bank Stadium against the 49ers. Then you follow it with the Texans, 2 teams in the playoffs and 2 teams that'll be tough. What do you make of the start of the season, those first, 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, going to New York in the opener, a team that only added to a pretty darn good defense, through free agency and the draft. And then, no more electric environment last year than that Monday night game against the Niners. I'm sure they'll be looking forward to coming back and trying to get back at us for getting them last year. Houston Texans with what D'Amico Ryan's doing in year 1 to reach the playoffs and really solidify that team as an exciting team that's got a chance to really make some noise. So you really look at those first 3 games. They're going to be games we're going to have to play well in. 2 out of 3 at home. We want to be a lot better at home this year. It's a big thing for me and our team. And then you just kind of look at, then we get a chance to go to Lambeau Field early on in the season before heading across the pond to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And
yeah, you mentioned that game. What's the excitement level to return? I know you did this 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's fun to get to be the home team this time. We kind of have our philosophy of how we approach the game. But it's one of those things playing anytime you're playing a team with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback and a really, really good, talented defense, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to have to prepare like crazy, and where it is in the season, kind of that week 5, just when you might, exhale a little bit after a couple home games against San Fran and the Texans, and then the grind of going up to Lambeau Field and playing the Green Bay Packers. We're going to get on a plane and we're going to head to London and go take on a really good team. So we're going to earn that week 6 bye. I know that.
Yeah, week 6 bye. How do you feel about having it earlier in the season, especially then since last season was so late?
Yeah, in 22 we kind of elected to not take the bye afterwards, and we won the game in London, and then we were able to come back and get a win as well. With it being a week later, and then ultimately kind of taking a look at some things for our team, we decided to take the bye right after. You think about when you report to training camp, working all the way through that time, then you add 5 games on to start the season. I think it'll be the perfect time to take that bye, kind of reset. Would have liked to have the Thursday game a little bit later after that, but 2 weeks later we're heading out to California.
That's right. You've got 4 of 6 on the road following that bye week. One of them being your return to SoFi Stadium, where you were with the Rams, won a Super Bowl. What do you think your emotions will be like heading back there?
Just so many close friends and people that was able to experience. There's nothing like experiencing winning a Lombardi Trophy, and owe so much to not only Sean and Les and everybody within that organization, but they'll be the first ones to know that we're coming out there to try to get a win on a short week. I know they're great at preparing for those short week games. A lot of the things we do philosophically for those games, we learned, working together there in LA. Matthew Stafford at quarterback, Cooper Kupp, Puka. The list goes on, but knowing that Aaron Donald's not going to be there
Big
is
relief.
definitely nobody defensively I have more respect for than him, and one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yes. Okay. So after that stretch of road games, you finish 4 of 6 at home.
Yep.
What kind of an advantage would it be, or could it be, to be able to end the season in your own place?
Yeah, I think it's just, you got to put yourself in a position to be in the conversation down the stretch. That's one of the things. We won the division in 22 and got a chance to host a playoff game. Last year we were at least after all the adversity, we're at least alive going down the stretch to try to find a way in, and we didn't get it done. But you want to be in the mix to, try to punch a ticket into the postseason. And there's no better place to get a chance to do that than in front of our home fans. There's going to be a nice little stretch there, like you talked about, where we're really going to lean on Vikings fans and getting that environment going at US Bank Stadium to try to help put a stamp really on that middle to the middle of the season before we finish up with 2 division games mirroring last year. Green Bay at home in week 16, and then we'll take on the Lions in Detroit to be determined on that one. It always means something when the league puts you against the defending division champs to finish the season, and we hope that game means a lot.
Well, I don't know what pull you have at the NFL offices,
Yeah.
but to be able to be in that back half of the season when it's winter and playing a bunch of indoor stadiums the last 2 years, you've lucked out.
Yeah, I think they're just respecting the fact that I'm from California, but I'm telling you, I'm starting to come around. I'm ready. I'm ready to. I don't know if it's quite.
You want to do like 4 feet of snow and all the layers.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I'm ready for the great Bud Grant. Wear a polo when it's about 15 below, but. If there's a little snow on the ground, I might drop a few layers this year and start toughing it out with the rest of the folks. But yeah, you're right. They do us some favors, but we do anytime we get to play at home in US Bank Stadium. It's we highlight those games because it means so much to try to win at home, like we did in 22. We got to get back to that this year.
So when the schedule comes out and you obviously today you first get it in your hands, how long do you get to kind of get excited about it and look at it before you pour into it and work on the schedule?
I think the biggest thing is we really have known who we're going to play. We just didn't know when and kind of how the timeline would work out together. And when you look at it, you really start seeing just challenges. You see, there's no more parity in any professional sports league than the NFL, and what those teams look like right now. I think last year with the Houston Texans is a great example. I mean, they go start playing really good football, and maybe it was this, similar to us in 2022. Maybe when that schedule came out in 22, I don't know if everybody was circling that Vikings game as there's the division champs, and that's what makes our game so great.
Exactly.
Everybody truly feels like they've got an opportunity to do something special each and every year, and that's what we're working towards. Why we do all the things we do leading into that first game against the New York Giants.
Sure. Well, Coach, we're super excited for the 2024 season. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Tatum.